I only specialize in what I call the really great bubbles.
What is going on YouTube? It's Brendan for Market Makers, your Bitcoin video, your Sunday kickoff show. Guys, I put out the SPX video first, so if you want to understand what's happening in the markets, watch that video because this is a massive week coming up for the earnings in the S&P 500 as well as for Powell because we have the Fed meeting and he's going to be raising rates and giving guidance. And what that guidance is and what those rate hikes are and how those earnings affect the markets, it's going to affect crypto. You need to understand that, my friends. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Guys, if you want to help support the channel, check out BitGet. You all know the exchange. Everybody promotes BitGet, but they have been our sponsor since we had 4,000 subs, and we were one of the first people to promote them. Using our link helps out the channel. Really would appreciate it in the video description. You want to trade with us? We got professional traders in the room, 13,000 people on our Discord, and that link is in the video description as well. Your first month is half off. 20 bucks gets you in the room and you get 4 free indicators custom made for market makers. Let's go ahead and jump into this. It'll be a fast video today. So this is a good time to make it because Bitcoin's pumping a little bit. It's at 23,854. Remember, we went over some of these targets. We're going to focus on the 3-day chart, daily, and I'm going to show you the 8-hour as well, okay? Let's take our trend-based fib from that swing low to the high to the low. This is where we got our 23,103 on the daily, on the everything below. Since I last gave you that target, first gave you that target, nothing had closed above 23,103, and you got to pump up right now, okay? So this has lasted for over a week since January, I guess what, January 19th when we hit it to this candle right now on the 3-day chart. You're getting a pump. We'll see if this rescinds like the last candle or if we start getting some upward momentum. So we need to look at upside targets remember, the catalyst will be if there's any good news, euphoria in the marketplace, if Powell is not aggressive, if earnings come out better than expected, or I guess better than the worst case scenario, you could see some more market continuation. I gave those equity targets in the last video, but for Bitcoin, where could it go? That's what you guys want to know, right? So where could it go? We had our pattern, our Kepler's triangles right here at 23,103. And again, we've had a lot of volatility getting as low as what do we get to here? 22,330 and as high as this current candle, which is open 23,877. So we want to see if this range holds. If this range does not hold, you can see my next significant level is 25,180 at the 1272. So if we take a fib retracement, can we find any confluence for that? Obviously, the 1 fib is going to be right on top of that off the trend-based fib. Look at all the double layered confluence. So you have the 786 and the 1 fib from the trend-based fib right there at 23,103. The next stop, guys, is 25,214. If this continues to get more bullish, okay, and I'll put you right up here with this last candle, 25,214. And again, you could easily see this if the equities want to break out in a bear market rally. And if we get up to our target on the S&P at 4374, it's a 25% rally. We had a half dozen of those in .com. So that's a high target, but it could do it because if the market wants to rally, if it wants to get a lot of FOMO together based on the fact the Fed is nearing, according to the market, its end of its rate hiking cycle. What the market's not pricing in is earnings degradation. But in the meantime, guys, price can ascend and go up. So that would be your next logical stop, 25,214 on a 3-day chart. And it doesn't have to get there. If earnings are bad, if Powell throws a curveball and gives you 50 basis points, this is all wrapping back down, okay? 50 basis points, you're going to get red bars and you'll get them quickly. Now on a 3-day chart, you are overbought on the MFI for the first time in a long time, for the first time since basically your run up October 7th, 2021. So your run up to the all-time high, right? Let's see what this looks like on the candles. That was the last time this was overbought. Yeah, you run up to the all-time high, one of the candles prior to the all-time high. And guys, this is going to be really interesting because you're overbought in large time frames, you're overheated, you have volume divergent rallies happening in equities markets, and the price It can be independent of reality, okay? And just be aware of that as traders. Price is always going to do what it wants to do, what the market wants to make it do. And if people are euphoric, if they're buying risk assets right now at the facing a massive recession that is incoming, this happens all the time in bear markets. Saw it in '08, saw it in .com, and you're going to see it again. So we have a nice rally up. Let's get a percentage on this rally. And let's see, let's get a measurement here. Right now, off this low to the current highs, it's a 54.64% move. Sounds crazy, but you know, Tesla's up 80% off of its low, and it's up 20%, I think, in the last 2 trading days of last week. So this isn't anything crazy, and this is Bitcoin. So watch this range. I have a dead air range here between 23,103 and 25,214. But if you do get up there, watch that 25,214 and wait and see what happens this week. If you guys are trading, none of this is financial advice. Be very cautious in this market. It will be highly volatile, much more than usual. And I know many of my Bitcoin viewers, well, maybe not on this channel, but I guess most Bitcoin viewers in general don't follow the broader markets. You guys do because you guys watch this channel, but be very aware of that, okay? Looking at this on the daily. So you got overbought on the daily, okay? You were overbought. You came back down to your median line, and you're getting a little bit of an uptick here on your MFI. Your relative volume is low. Now, how would you know if this is a valid breakout? You guys hear me talk all the time about volume divergent rallies and things of that nature, but you want to see volume breakout. Relative volume, fractal trade 15, RVOL, one of his indicators. Anybody can get this indicator. It's a great indicator. Shows volume out of trend, okay? Standard deviations of volume out of trend. And you have a 3 sigma bar here that gave us confluence that this pump was a valid pump. Now we have low volume or average volume on the second leg up and lower relative volume, but still a little bit up at a trend. And now you have a pump candle. This will either come back down or give you more information in the volume. But in general, if you want to see a big leg up, you want to see big volume. Why is that? You want to see momentum. Remember, you want to see more participants getting euphoric, getting FOMO, buying that asset, driving it up. The more the merrier, supply and demand, because fewer participants with concentrated wealth can move the market. And especially in the crypto space, you guys all know, being some old heads trading this space, you have to be careful because crypto can be easily manipulated on centralized exchanges, as we all have seen talking to each other, making these videos over the last year and a half, right? So just be careful. You want to see a valid volume breakout to really have a lot more upside. But right now you're just ranging, and I think you're going to see some big candles potentially this week, okay? Possibly up and possibly down, depending on these catalysts that happen in the marketplace with Powell. But watch your volume, watch your MFI to see what it does as well. Let's look at this in a smaller time frame. So I'm going to show you this from the Wyckoff perspective, the 8-hour time frame. Here we have that fib fan coming back from the pandemic low. As you can see, it was resistance, finally got above it, used it as support. Amazing how that works after 2 years, right? And then you look at this. Where are you here on Wyckoff? Remember, from a Wyckoff perspective, this is a mini Wyckoff structure. You can zoom out, you can Wyckoff in a massive chart, a smaller section. The pattern is the same in sideways markets. And when you look at this, you have your buying climax, you have your retest, or you have your base here, and then you have your test of your ceiling. You have an up thrust coming back up in here, and you can see you're making your higher lows, right? Remember, bullish patterns, higher lows. The next step for this, and again, Bitcoin being parabolic doesn't have to do this, but as you can see, the last pump candle came back down. If this is going to be valid in a Wyckoff perspective, you want to see this roll over and retest your base and then pivot out to the upside. So that rollover would be 23,343. Okay, you want to see it come back, test that, pivot out to the upside. If it doesn't pivot out, but it rolls over, this is how you can build double tops, re-enter your range, and then you go into that area of where you're making lower highs, okay? Potentially exiting the range. So right now you have a pump out of your Wyckoff range after previous test of up thrust. Let's see if this holds up, or if it starts to roll over, How did you guys like this? Fast and painless. Let's look at the indicators here as well. MFI is in the bullish territory, crossing your median line on the 8-hour time frame. Guys, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate all of your support. Another Bitcoin update will be out Wednesday as well. Watch this pump. Let's see what happens, because Bitcoin could be leading the equities markets, or again, could just be a controlled pump and a big move back down like that previous one. Keep your eyes peeled, guys. Stay frosty.